Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Soul Quest. And today I have my friend Jessie Trofe with that amazing last name. I'm so
Oh,
happy to have her on my podcast. I know her through the Cosmic Mastermind. Been in there 2 years in a row, and she adds so much value. She's a therapist, so
thank
we're
you.
going to talk to her a little bit about that today. And she's traveling around too, like she's having fun. So we'll talk about that
Yes.
too. But let's start
Oh,
off I always like to start off in the beginning of your journey of your soul quest. What was your childhood like? Where did you grow up, first of all?
well, thank you so much for having me on, Sharon, and I'm so excited to be here. You are my first podcast ever, so thank you for being
Yay!
willing to host me.
Awesome. I'm so
Yeah,
excited to
and
have
thanks for also. I was a little, yeah, I was a little nervous earlier, so thanks for being willing to talk with me about that, and saying this is just like a conversation, and as a therapist, it's all about the reframe. And,
Mhm.
I know, as a coach, it's all about reframing things. And I
Yeah.
think you just even saying that, it's like, wait a second, this is a conversation. So,
Yes, yes.
that really
I know.
helped.
But you know what this thing is, not every podcast is like this. There are some that are a lot more formal and they have like a set of questions and they give you those set of questions before and you can look over them and it feels just kind of robotic.
Mm.
But I
Yeah,
just don't like I like easy
I could see that.
going, let's have fun and get to know each other.
Nice.
So
I like your style.
so I know
Yeah.
quite a bit about you, but I don't know where I think you grew up in Austin, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're like, "Wait a second, let's go back to that question." Um, yeah, so I grew up actually in North Austin, and then we moved to Georgetown when I was about, 10 years old. So, yeah, that's kind of I grew up
Okay.
in, the Austin area, and then in Georgetown, we had about 5 acres, so grew up in the
Mm,
country,
nice.
so got the
I
best
love
of both
Georgetown.
worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
quite different now than it was whenever I was a kid. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I know,
grown
it's
so
blown
much, right?
yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah.
It used to be like there was like an Applebee's was like the main thing, like. Now it's like amazing. I'm like, I went there recently and was like, oh my gosh, like Georgetown. I mean, yeah, it's coming on up.
I know,
But
I heard it was one of the fastest growing towns in Texas during the COVID, especially, people were moving to Georgetown and New Braunfels, because they're just so
oh,
unique and they have such a character about them. So, yeah.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah, so grew up right around here. Um, yeah, and I know, you mentioned that sometimes that you talk about like childhood, like, how that impacts our lives. And yeah, so that definitely played a role growing up here for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I think it's most people that have grown up in the Austin area, I feel like it's such a blessing. I don't know, like, it's just because I grew up in
Yeah.
Houston. I mean, I had my own, uh I got to grow up around a lot of good food, I can say that, but I had a lot of dangerous situations happen to me. When I moved to Austin, I was like I felt so safe going down back then.
Mm,
This was over 20 years ago. I felt
yeah.
so safe going downtown. It was so different than Houston. And you'd go into the bathroom at a bar and you'd make best friends with the girls in there, but not that didn't happen in Houston. No, everybody was rude. It was like you would go into a McDonald's drive-through and they would just be like hated their life, and just
Oh
like your
gosh.
order, and then God, what's up their butt? And then I moved to Austin and I thought, wow, everybody's so nice. Even the drive-through workers are so nice here.
I could see how that's such a big change. Just, Texas being so
Yeah.
huge that it really is
Yeah.
quite a difference, just from one city to the next.
Yeah.
What that's
There really
like,
is.
that culture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what would you say were the best parts of growing up in the Austin area, or just in
Mm.
your family?
That's a really good question. I think I feel most blessed about being just surrounded by music, live music. Um,
Mm.
as someone that plays music myself, playing the guitar and singing has been like a big part of my life. And I got to start, as a young kid, getting to see that firsthand and getting
Oh,
to
that's
go to those shows and being immersed in that kind of culture. I think was just really special for sure.
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definite benefit of growing up here. Wow. So
Mm.
you started singing at what age?
Actually around the same time that I moved to Georgetown was kind of when I
Oh.
started getting I started singing younger than 10, but I started going and performing at about that age. So that's when I started like getting on stage and kind of pushing myself to share like what I
How
love doing.
fun.
So, yeah,
Oh my gosh,
it's
that's
I've
so
been doing
brave
it for
for
a
a
while.
10-year-old. That's awesome.
I love that you said that, because really that's one of the moments that I look back, and I'll talk about this probably later when I talk about more so like the EMDR part of what I do,
Mhm.
but I actually use those core memories of going on stage and like really kind of tapping into that courage. I use that to kind of do new things. Like before I started our session today, before I jumped on, I was like, "Ooh, I'm feeling nervous. I'm gonna bring back up this memory of being courageous." So I love that you bring that up because that was kind of scary doing that at that age, and yet I still did it. So, um,
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I didn't have that at 10 years old. Like, it built up later in my life. Like, now I'm trying to get I want my dog because she has some kind of performance ability, even though she's super quiet.
Oh.
Like, when I make her and, like, other kids that are around, like, do little skits, she starts talking. Like, that's when she starts talking. It's like, "Wait a second here. You don't talk."
Hmm.
But when I give you a skit to do, all
Oh,
of a sudden you're a good actor, and so there's something in her, but
interesting.
I think of myself as an adult looking back. I was in theater arts, but I was super shy, so I never really did anything with it, I wish I did. I wish I had the courage back then. I wish somebody would have pushed me a little or coached me to do something like that because I think it's super fun, and now I'm all
Mhm.
about where's an improv class? I wanna do
Uh,
some
you know, I was
improv.
I was just thinking that because 'cause you're like, "I wish I did." I'm like, "Well, you can do it now."
Yeah,
Right?
I
Like,
know.
and look what
I
you're
have
doing right now. This is improv, like, totally, right?
That's
What we're doing
true.
right
That's
now.
true.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess this is my
Yeah.
way of shining in that way, but I do love improv. I would you do you wanna do improv one day with me?
Ooh.
Like, go some
Sure, why not? I'll definitely go watch you. I'd
I
be
mean,
willing to try it. I'd be willing to try it.
there's
How's that?
like I mean, they have classes here and there throughout, like I saw one at this one it's called Awakened Ranch. It's a new have you heard of it? Awakened
I
Ranch?
haven't.
It's
No.
off of I
I
think
like
it's
that
in
name, though.
Northwest Hills somewhere. Anyway,
Okay.
I noticed that they had an improv class there, like, on a Friday night or something. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the next one I find," but I keep going back to the website, I don't see it, but, I'll probably send out a message to you and a bunch of people and be like, "Anybody wanna go?" Whenever I find out when it is again,
Yes.
because I think that's such a fun thing to do with your friends, like, just get silly and
Totally.
there's no skit or anything, and there's no right or wrong, you just do what comes out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's therapy in that. That's therapeutic, right? Like in
Yeah.
just letting yourself go like that and be in the moment. And I remember I
Yeah.
took a class, like an elective in grad school called psychodrama, where you're
Ooh.
where you're doing kind of improv and you're doing a lot of role playing and it really is like this ability and it works great with like young adults, with like adolescents, with adults, right? Like you
Mhm.
get to essentially act out different scenarios and maybe even feel a little bit more comfortable being somebody else versus like, saying this is how I feel, right? Um, I don't know.
Yeah. That
Mhm.
totally makes sense of what I just said about my daughter, like, she's
Mm.
more comfortable being someone else, acting as someone else when she's doing those little
Ah.
skits. Interesting. Yeah, that's a fun class. Wow. Yeah.
Mm.
And like, being able to think in the like, get in the moment and not think too hard about what you're doing and just kinda
Mhm.
I remember I went to an improv class and the big thing was, act with your heart, not your mind, just in the moment. So
Yeah.
I felt like that was such great meditation going on there.
Totally. I mean,
Yeah.
you're being present, right? Like that's such
Yeah.
great advice, like being in the heart. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of just dropping back down into it. Of like, why am I doing this? Right. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was kind of coming back to earlier today as I was noticing some nerves kind of coming up. I was like, wait,
Mhm.
why am I doing this? Like, and that's
Mhm.
going back into the heart, right? Um, yeah. And
Wow.
that's also to share this information, right? To share these matters of the heart. But
Totally. Totally.
mhm.
So when you were a kid performing,
Mhm.
did you have any setbacks or challenges or times where, like, you got upset at yourself or you felt like, "Oh, I'm not good enough," or anything like that while you're
Mm.
putting yourself out there?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, like, you get into that trap of comparing yourself to other people,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean,
Mhm.
we're all gonna do it, especially as kids, we're prone to do that. That's kind of, what we know. We often will compare ourselves to others and, yeah, that would often happen, but I think that in general, though, like, it felt like it was such an outlet for me. So, in general, like, I have such positive associations with it, because it was fun. And I think that in itself says it like it's it was the right avenue for me. And I still I still do it today. So like I still love to sing and play and songwrite. And it's kind of a way of, my own therapy.
Mhm.
And so, yeah. But yeah, there were often times that you can kind of be down on yourself, but then it's just so much fun that you're like, wait a second, like, I mean, this is why I'm doing it, like, right?
Yeah.
Because it's fun. It's not about, like,
Yeah.
how good am I, like, I mean, it's nice to be able to sound good too, though, of
Mhm.
course. But you
Yeah.
you see yourself get better. You see yourself improve throughout the years, and you're like, "Oh, I can hit that note I never was able to hit before." And that feels really good to
Mhm.
see that improvement for sure.
That's awesome. Do you write your own music or do you sing other songs that you know that you love?
Um,
Or
a
both?
little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of both. So, yeah, I like to write my own music, and a lot of that is just like that feels therapeutic for me to be able to kind
Mhm.
of express how I'm feeling, and
Yeah.
doing that through music just feels great. Um,
Oh,
so that's something I really enjoy. But
I love that.
yeah,
It's nice to
thank
know
you.
that
Yeah, it's
you've
nice
kept
to
it
have
up.
that avenue, right?
Yeah.
Um, I feel lucky that it's one of those skills that you can it continues to improve too, right? Like, you continue to grow. Like, sometimes, like, when you, like, maybe, like, as an athlete or something, you might not be able to do the things you used to be able to do. Um, but music feels different. So, I'm lucky to have, like, this coping skill
Mhm.
that I can continue to grow in.
Um, okay, so what you were very musical and in college, did you major in music or anything?
I actually majored in psychology and,
That's
did
right.
music on
Yeah.
the side. Yeah, so I
Okay.
I would sing and play, and I had a band in college, and, that's when I started playing the guitar was in college, but Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. How fun.
Mhm.
So, when you went into college, I have a psychology degree too. And I
Ah.
remember the moment I was at UT, and I remember in my psychology class, somebody came in to talk to us about careers, and they said, "Well, these days, people don't go to psychologists anymore. They go to therapists." And I was like, "Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this psychology degree." I was like, "I don't even know what I just wanna get out of school." I
Yeah.
can't imagine
Yeah.
going getting my doctorate and then have no clients. But I wish at that point I would have said, "Oh, okay, I'll just go into therapy." I wish I would have said that, but instead I went into nursing, and I went to nursing school, and that was totally wrong for me. Um, so I'm glad that you used your psychology degree to move into
Well,
therapy. That was fun.
yeah. Well, at first, you have to like kind of go on, right? You can't just go typically into being a therapist with it. So I had like several years where I was like in the corporate world and was like, "Oh, I'll just, do sales or do this and I'll do music, right?" Like and then realized that I actually wanted to go into counseling and was like, "Oh, well, I can't just use my psychology degree. No, you have to go back and get your master's at least, and, so I'm like, "Dang it, more school, more money." But, worth it, absolutely worth it, and, yeah, it just kinda led me to be able to do what I'm doing now, but, yeah, it was definitely, like, not a straightforward path at all,
Mhm.
um
And you specialize what do you specialize in?
yeah, so you're like, "What is it that you do?"
I'm like
Um
EMDR, right? Did I say
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, it's harder to say the whole thing. So EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Um, yeah, so a lot easier to say EMDR, but the whole thing it's like, "Oh my gosh." But essentially what that is, a roundabout way of saying is stimulating both sides of the brain, so bilateral stimulation of the brain in order to create a new experience. So you're creating from an old experience that might have felt painful, you're rewiring the brain to no longer feel that same pain level. Usually, our goal is for it to no longer feel that way, for it to feel neutral. If anything, for it to feel like there's meaning that was created from it. And so it becomes like more of an empowering experience. So it's really effective with treating trauma. That's the primary way that I use EMDR is with working with clients that have gone through something that felt traumatic for them. It doesn't even have to be something that is considered like a big T trauma, which is, the threat of loss of life or limb. It can be like a little T trauma, small T trauma, which is essentially like something that felt traumatic, like something that created a core belief that was negative about yourself. Which
um,
there are so many opportunities for that, right, in our life. We have all gone through that. We all have little T traumas. Most of us have big T traumas too. And so EMDR is really effective for working with a variety of different experiences that people have gone through. Um, so I got trained in EMDR in 2018, but I've been practicing counseling since 2009 is when I graduated from with my master's. So I kind of came into EMDR a little late. Um, and but once I have like, so it's been, gosh, what is that now? Like 8 years now that I've been doing
mhm.
EMDR. And yeah, I'm so glad that I got trained in it. I've noticed a huge difference. I think I mentioned to you, Sharon, that it's
Mhm.
like accelerated talk therapy. Um,
Yeah,
because it really, yeah. Um,
I love
you're
that.
really it's body based, so you're able to create change quicker. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, what questions do you have about EMDR? Sorry, I'm like
Yeah, and
going
that's
off about I get
totally
excited.
yeah, I totally understand, like, it totally makes sense, and I didn't realize that that there are people using it in different ways, like, I remember I was doing I forgot what this girl some woman I found on YouTube, and she was leading some kind of manifestation meditation,
Mm,
and she said, "When you imagine whatever it is that you're trying to manifest is, you have it, you're, like, touching it, if it's an object or you're visualizing it, and then while you're imagining you have it, you move your eyes left to right." Like, she was saying to do that
mhm,
while you imagine, and then, like, in my qigong
mm.
class, my teacher put that into one of our movements, and I was like, I kn I didn't really know what exactly we were doing, but then when I learned more about EMDR, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what we're doing." They're adding
Yes.
EMDR into the manifestation meditation and the qigong, ancient healing technique, so I think that's pretty
I
cool
love that.
how that
Yes.
is coming up in different areas. The same thing with, like, tapping,
Mhm.
comes up. It's intertwined with a lot of different modalities too. So,
I love that.
well, can you share with us one, like, tool or technique that you use with adults that would show us a little bit about what it looks like?
Absolutely. Yeah, and thanks for sharing how that's coming up in these different areas like qigong. I love that, there's these different modalities that are implementing essentially like the bilateral stimulation of the brain.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's kind of, if you think about it, that's what hypnosis is, right? Like the eye
Yeah.
movements, right? Back and forth. Um, when we're walking, we're stimulating both sides of the brain when we walk. So I think that, that in itself can feel really healing. Um, I know we talked about, like, earlier I mentioned how EMDR can be used to treat trauma. So to treat, like, essentially, like, responses to something that felt traumatic for it not to feel the same way and to create meaning from it. But there are other ways to use it too. So you can use it also to empower. So essentially, you can use this as a way to create excitement, to like for future tense things. So if you like, for example, today, you could use this with an adult, or someone that, or young adult, kid, anyone that really is like having a little bit of anxiety about something that's coming up. So you might ask them, okay, when was a time that you did not, or that you felt anxious before, but you still summoned the courage and you did the thing and it was a positive experience, right? So, like, most people can, especially if they've, lived, if they're older, they probably can draw upon at least one experience where they access courage. And if you can't, then, maybe you can visualize someone that has, or maybe there's like a movie or a book where, you can identify with the character that was
Mhm.
courageous and you can really kind of put yourself in their shoes. But so you're really kind of thinking about that. So you might close your eyes and if you're not driving when you're listening to this podcast, you can do this with me, but I'll kind of do this too. So you might close your eyes and you visualize this time that you felt really courageous. So for me, that was when I walked across that stage when I was 10 years old and was like taking the microphone off the stand and was like, all right, I'm doing the thing, even though I was scared. So I am visualizing that, noticing where I feel it in my body. I'm noticing it in my stomach a little bit, noticing it in my chest. But as I'm feeling that nervousness, I'm feeling that, like, I'm also allowing myself to feel what it felt like afterwards. What did it feel like to finish the thing?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, there was pride that came up, excitement. I heard some applause. Okay, I did this. So I allowed myself to feel that. And so maybe you even, and this is the stimulating both sides of the brain part. So maybe you start to tap slowly, ever so slowly. And maybe you start to slow your breath as you tap, as you really allow yourself to feel what it felt like to feel empowered, to feel strong, to really feel like yourself, right? Like this is authentically you. you being present in your body, you accessing this part of yourself. And so as you're tapping, you're really just reinforcing this beautiful feeling in your body. And you might just slowly tap until you feel complete, till you feel like you've gotten what you needed from that visualization, from that exercise of really just being in yourself and really just being, being a part of yourself, right? Like I'm getting teary-eyed just picturing this. Um because you really are getting to access this part of yourself that you have at all times and we just forget it sometimes. We forget that
Mhm.
that part is with us. Um
Yeah, I love that.
yeah. Hmm.
Very calming.
Yeah.
Cool, I
So
love
that
that.
tapping, right? That just the tapping in
Yeah.
itself, the slow tapping by the heart chakra just kind of like grounds you,
Mhm.
slows your breathing naturally, kind of calms the nervous system
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm.
Cool, well, thanks for sharing that. And
Yeah,
so
thanks for giving
you
me the
work
space to do that.
yeah, you help people with this online, right?
Yes. So I'm licensed in Texas. I help people all over Texas. And right now I'm working with just adults at this time. I do have quite a few clients that are younger, so in their early 20s, or I do have some clients that are older teenagers as well. But yeah, I work with adults all over Texas that are wanting to essentially work through something that's holding them back, so kind of getting unstuck with something, and the EMDR is great at helping to kind of move forward, and also to access this part of yourself that really is empowered, that sometimes we forget. So
Mhm.
it really kind of that's my goal, is to kind of bring a remembering and an empowering element to working with me.
Oh,
So I would love to, I'd love to jump on a call if anybody has any questions. I'm happy to answer any questions about EMDR. Refer you to someone that feels like a good fit. If if I'm not a good fit, I would love to connect you to someone that is. So I am available.
awesome, great.
Mhm.
I will put your website in the show notes for people to find you.
Thank you.
And is there anything coming up in your life that you're feeling excited about?
Mm. Ooh, that is a good question. I'm excited right now about just being in the present, honestly. I'm back in Austin right now, and yeah, it just feels good to be. So I've been traveling. I think you had mentioned that earlier. We've been traveling this last year. Everything's been in storage, and my partner and I have been working remotely and traveling, and we are in Austin for the next 2 months, renting a place, in a really cool area of town. So I'm just
Yay.
excited about being here, honestly,
Yeah,
and
I'm
reconnecting with
sure.
friends, and yeah,
Yeah, and that's
thanks
kinda
for
nice, like, you go
having me.
home, but you're not home permanently, like, so you don't feel like, "Oh, I'm
Mhm.
back here. I'm back here. I get to see people and then I get to move on." So, where are you going
Mm.
next?
So after this, we're gonna go back to New Mexico for a little bit. So my dad lives in Silver City, New Mexico. So we'll hang out there and like do some hiking, spend some time with him, and from there, I think we're gonna go to the Northeast for the fall. So um yeah, we'll
That's so
see.
fun. I love
That's still kind of
that.
up in the air what that timeline's gonna look like and where we're gonna land exactly, but I think we wanna enjoy we're gonna do some leaf
Mhm.
peeping. We're gonna, yeah, look at the fall foliage, join
Oh,
that
that's
crowd
so
of people. I'm
nice.
sure that'll be interesting, but
Yeah,
I've
that's
never
such
really
an
gotten to do that, so
cool.
have you done that before? Have you gone up there
No,
for that, like, the fall?
no, I have not. I would like to do that one day. I seriously, like, I'll live vicariously through you and hopefully do it one day, maybe in see when when my daughter's older and on her own and I have a partner of my own, I would love to do that. I mean, I could do it by
Yeah,
myself, but, I'm not an alone type of traveler. I don't really like to travel by myself. So, one day,
gotcha.
I would like to do that because I mean, I
It's
work from
going to
home too, so
happen.
yes.
Absolutely. Yes, you could totally
Love
make
it.
that happen. Um, are you excited about anything right now? I'm curious.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm turning 50 in September, so
Ooh.
it's kind of like bittersweet, right? Like I just I love those decade birthdays, so I'm kind of excited. Oh, and I'm planning to go to Ecuador, and hang out with
Oh,
Tiana after she moves. So that's what I'm
nice.
excited about.
Oh, I love
um,
that. I love that you're gonna go see her too.
yeah, yeah. So that'll be my 50th birthday trip, in the fall.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm
Oh, that's
excited.
great. It's a good way to
So
celebrate 50 for sure.
yeah, I
Mhm.
can't even believe it. I can't believe it. Well, thank you, Jesse. Can you share one last thing with us? What's one thing that you do on a daily basis that helps keep you balanced?
Mm. So, I love taking walks. So I
Mhm.
have a dog and he gets to kind of take me on a walk too. So
Mm.
um that's what I love about, also like the grounding ritual of walking the dog is that he's like we're really walking each other. So I we do that twice a day. Usually I get to take a walk outside and to me that feels grounding. I'm like in nature. I'm
Mhm.
usually like, I don't, like, listen to anything, so I'm just, like, very present, like, noticing the flowers, and it just feels like this time where you really get to just, like, be, and, I don't know, it feels like a time to connect with nature, myself, and my dog.
Yeah, I
So
agree. Same thing. That's the first thing I do when I wake up is I go take my dog on a walk before anyone else wakes up. So I like to try. I like to get out before cars are driving around and like a
Yeah.
really quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When it's nice and calm
nice.
out. Mm. Love
Yeah,
it.
we'll have to bring your dog out here to Bastrop because it's so there's so many like trails with the pines and stuff,
Yes.
and without there's some without the pines that are nice too out here.
I would love that.
So, all right. Well,
We'll
thank
have
you
to
for
get
being
together.
here.
Yes, thanks for having me. That was fun. Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right, signing off. Thanks everybody for being
Okay.
here.